Welcome to the third session of Design Thinking with emphasis on COVID 19. And this is the very important stage, that is analysis. In this session, we will try to analyze for the category A, that is COVID 19 patients. Let's go. So, what is analysis? As I just mentioned, we can say analysis as a typical tool where we try to actually defining the problem by culminating all the observations we had in first stage, that is empathy. So analysis is a very important and challenging part where we really figure out our problem in a meaningful and actionable way. So once we figure out our problem, then we try to develop as many as ideas, and then we adapt the brainstorming and we decide which ideas are possible, are okay to continue, or whether they are viable or not, like this. That means the conformity of our ideas. In these lines, we will get the clarity about our problem. So for this, it is always advisable for us to have multiple repetition of internal questioning. Somehow we call it as multi-why. This is a very famous technique. That means we try to ask a series of questions, one followed by other and so on. That means it is a kind of drilling. Why this happened, and so on. If we do like this, we will be able to develop a chain of questions that can provide a proper logical connection. Let me explain this with a very important example or familiar example. Many of the times happens in an institution. So this is, if you look at a very typical student, a very interested student in one of the institutions, who is basically very hardworking and regular and punctual. But what happening actually, almost since a couple of weeks, he is paying the fine while he is coming to the classes. And then principal observed this from the data of office and wanted to counsel him personally. And the principal asked the student to attend for counseling. And he started counseling like this. And principal started questioning the student. The first question he asked is, why you are paying the fine to the institution? Then student replied, sir, I am unable to attend the classes in time, or I am attending the classes by late. Then principal asked the student, why should you be late? Then for this student replied, sir, I am getting up late from the bed. Then principal asked again, why should you do like this? Can't you be early? Then student said, sir, my alarm is not working well or didn't go well. Then principal asked, what's wrong with that? Then student said, battery must have been exhausted. So the root cause for this issue is battery in the alarm of the student. Once it has to be repaired, then obviously the things will happen. So if the battery is good, the alarm works well, the student gets up well, and he will be attending the classes in time, and there will be no fine at all. So this is the new cause, and this is how we can really identify the root cause of the problem. So in general, for this kind of five-way process or five-way asking, and this is a typical flow chart. First, what we have to do is we should identify this particular problem. Then we should start asking the questions, and whatever the questions we are asking and whatever the information we are getting, we should try to note down in a table on what we are getting the information. Then keep continue why it is happening, why it is happening, and try to identify the proper reason. So you can get the cause if you get up to 5 ways or enough times. If you get the root cause, this is fine, and move towards finding the solution. In case you didn't get the solution, then again you have to go back to asking the questions why and why and why till you get the satisfactory reason. So this is how we can apply multi-why, the very important and famous technique for getting the detailed information by questioning. Now let us see at our theme analysis at our COVID-19 pandemic. Now in this particular session, let us apply for category A, that is corona attacked person who is in critical ICU. So let us apply this 5 why to find the root cause for this. So what is the first why? Why in fact he is in critical ICU? The reason why he is in ICU is that the immune system of the candidate got depleted. Once the immune system got starts fighting with the virus, it causes fever. In many cases, even immune system can overreact and starts attacking our own living cells. This is the first reason for which in fact the immune system got depleted and the candidate is in ICU. Okay, why this particular immune system has been depleted, that is what we call the second why. The reason is lungs become obstructive and makes difficulty to breathe. This is happening because the lungs are slowly getting filled with the fluids when the cells are getting killed by viral protein. Okay, why it is happening? This is the third way in this couple. This is happened due to spreading of virus in our body. This spreading takes place when cells in our lungs starting replication of more copies of virus molecules. That is, in scientific way, we say that the virus molecules say our cells that do stop your duty and do my work. That is the replication of the viral molecules. Now let us see the fourth way. That means why this deep spreading taken place. The reason is the cell function deactivates. How it is happening? The virus infects the cell by fusing its oily membrane with our cell membrane. Once it enters inside, it will the virus releases small pieces of its genetic material called RNA. Then the infected cell reads this RNA and replicate the same copies of RNA like this. As infection progresses, the cell starts developing new proteins, spikes, and slowly develop more copies of coronavirus molecules. Then these new copies of virus will assemble and carry to outer edges of cells like this. Now let us look at the fifth way. Why so happen like that? The reason is the entry of virus into human body. When it enters the body via nose, mouth, or eyes, then it attacks the cells in our airway, where actually the protein ACE2 presence where actually the rupture starts. So the root cause for COVID-19 is the entry of virus through the airway and locking at protein AC2 molecules. This is angiotensin converting enzyme 2. The molecules are written like this. These are present in the cell membrane of our lungs. So, friends, the virus is believed to originate in bats and it may also have the similar kind of proteins as we discussed. It may enter the human via the food, and once it enters a particular person, from the first infected person, it may spread when they cough, squeeze, and when they are in some sort of close proximity with any other person, and this infection may enter via mouth, nose, or ears, or eyes to a particular person, or even when these kind of droplets are placed on any particular surface, and if any individual particular person had a touch with that surface, and when they just have a kind of rubbing with any eyes or mouth or nose, then there is a possibility that the virus will enter into that particular person, and it will circulate among so many people. That is what we call the transmission. So friends, this is how we need to find out the root cause. We will end this session here with, and in the next session, we will see the analysis for the other two categories B and C. Be safe and stay tuned. Happy learning. Bye.